Ukraine is finally getting to hit Russia hard with its wonder weapons, letting Ukraine attack Russian military targets directly with its wonder weapons is beginning to turn the tide of the war in Kiev's favor, says a retired UK colonel. For too long Ukraine has had to fight the invading Russians with one hand tied behind its back, the Breton Gordon wrote in a commentary for The Telegraph. According to Business Insider, the former soldier held multiple appointments in his 23-year military career with the British Army at least. However, that is beginning to change from now, with permissions granted from various Western countries, but most crucially the United States. Ukraine can strike targets far deeper to Breton Gordon said last month. Politico reported that the Biden administration had given Ukraine its permission to use provided weapons on Russian targets in Kiev. Russian forces launched an assault on the region in May as part of a summer offensive on Ukraine's second-largest city, whilst it is still obliged to prioritize the Khaki front. By the nature of the permissions granted, there is evidence that it has freed up the Ukrainian Armed Forces to use the other weapons it had in reserve to strike elsewhere. Breton Gordon noted in his commentary. The former colonel listed several of Ukraine's recent military accomplishments, which included drone assaults on Russian naval vessels at Taganrog Bay and the Akuan airfield in southern Russia. The latter attack resulted in the destruction of Russia's latest stealth aircraft, the S-57 fighter bomber. For too long Kiev was fighting an uneven battle, putting it in the impossible position of seeing Russia massing troops across its own border, unable to hit them. Breton Gordon said, "Now that has changed. I think the Khaki front will begin to turn back in Kiev's favor." The recent turn of events, the Breton G said, wasn't something that Russia could simply withstand by relying on attritional warfare. Russia cannot sustain the industrial level of casualties it is currently facing, over 500,000 so far. I don't care how good Russia's industrial complex is in the modern era, that figure is simply not sustainable, he said. But Ukraine's accomplishments in the battlefield could risk further Russian escalation.